What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex, and you're watching a Ragin Ronin review. It is 2023. Happy New Year. It has been a very, very long time since I've reviewed any films on this channel. I haven't put any content on this channel. I apologize for that. The last time I reviewed a film was back in, I think it was November, Ghostbusters Afterlife. And then after that, I'll be completely honest, I just got lazy and I kind of enjoyed that break from reviewing films right after watching them. And it's been a bit over a year, and I made a decision that I'm going to revisit all those films again that I didn't review, and I'm going to talk about them in this channel, so stay tuned for that. We're bringing this channel back. It is 2023, and let's now review Avatar: The Way of Water. Is it The Way of the Water, or Way of the Water, or The Way of Water? Anyways, doesn't matter to me. It's Avatar 2. We've been waiting for 13 years. I watched this on the very, very first showing. On the very first day, it came out in IMAX 3D. And of course, a lot of us have been waiting for 13 years. I know there's a lot of honestly, a lot of unnecessary hate for this film, and I really don't know why, and I don't understand it. I'm a big fan of the very first film. I've always been a fan of James Cameron, and I think the fact that it took so long to develop the technology for the second film and the future sequels, it made a lot of people feel like, oh my god, I'm so tired of hearing about it. When is this film going to come out? And it kind of developed this unnecessary dislike for this film. But as for me, I'm just anticipating it. Couldn't wait. It's finally here, and I'm just gonna flat out say it. I like Avatar: The Way of Water more than the first one, and I'll just start by saying that the first one's the original. Okay, it's got the story. A lot of people like to compare it with other films that I won't mention, but you know what? The story that Avatar has is still a great story. It doesn't matter that it borrowed from these other films. It's still a great story. If you're going to borrow or copy from someone, borrow from somebody good or copy from somebody good. Regardless, you still have a very good formula that works. You just got to reskin it, which means that, change up the elements. And what James Cameron did was he did something really, really extraordinary with the CG, with the 3D technology, and the overall concept is really, really, in my opinion, brilliant. Now, fast forward 13 years later to 2022 on the release of the sequel, I think he did an even better job. I think, first of all, I think the CG looks amazing. I think the 3D looks amazing. I think the 3D looks even better. Okay. I'm happy with the story. It is quite similar. In fact, very similar to the first one. And by that I mean it's got different story elements, but it's got like the way it's structured, the first, second, and third act is actually very, very similar to the first one. So if you like the first one, then you should like this one. Otherwise, if you don't like the first one, but you still want to watch this one, you might feel like, oh, it's just a rehash of the first one. I disagree. It introduces a lot of new elements to it. It's got the element of family. Okay, that's something that hasn't really been explored. It's the first one's more about Jake Sully's discovery of himself, but this one, he knows who he is, and in this sequel, it's more about family. So that's a brand new element. Another brand new element that's introduced is the concept of water, and I really love that James Cameron decided to go back to something that he's a territory that he's familiar with, like from the we had underwater sci-fi with The Abyss, and then we had where he directed Titanic, right? So we get little bits of those elements in this film, and I think that he really, really liked to revisit the aquatic elements, or aquatic cinema, if you will, because it just creates for a lot of really amazing cinematography. Because I gotta tell you, I loved all the water scenes. The 3D and the water scenes just looks great. You feel very immersed. It's a very immersive experience. and just seeing all the different sea creatures of Pandora is so mesmerizing. And I love how, like, I love to pay attention to details, right? And one of the things I noticed is that the CG and the 3D I think looks even more amazing, because when you look at the textures of the skin tones and all that, if you look closely, you look how the water just is on the skin, it just really shows you a newer level of detail. I mean, it looked amazing in the first Avatar. I think it looks even better in this one. There's lots of details there, and now I really understand why it took this long, because like they added way more details in this film, and it's just really, really amazing. I love the fact that they explore a completely different aspect of Pandora. It's like a huge planet. Okay, so there's so much to explore, and yeah, it's just something that that's pretty mind blowing. Sure, there's some elements like little smaller story elements, like sub stories, if you will, that are in this film that we've seen in many other films. But whatever, it still works, because once you combine them together, you combine it with the action, the visuals. It's all about the visuals. It's a great looking film, and oh man, the final act of the film, the final battle is just really, really impressive. I gotta say that I love the performance of Sam Worthington, but stand-up performance comes from Zoe Saldana as Neytiri, and also Sigourney Weaver as the older sister. Okay, one of the daughters, the older daughter. That was a really, really wonderful. It's amazing how Sigourney Weaver can play a child. So amazing. Okay, and at the beginning of the film, I was a little bit worried that there's 3 blue kids. Okay, 3 Na'vi kids. I was worried that I won't be able to tell them apart, because there's 4 of them, so how can I tell them apart, right? But as the movie played out, you really see how they're different because of the performances, the distinct personalities, the writing, and also the performances. So they did a really, really great job with that, and you get to see all these different elements about that, because it's not. I mean, the visuals are there, but it's also about the acting and also the story. Overall, it's about the story at the end of the day. And the visuals is just a medium to tell that extraordinary story. So really great job. The third act is freaking amazing. I love that all the different scenes involving the sea creatures of Pandora, the tribe that is that exists, in that beach, that part of Pandora. Super cool. Yeah, just really, really awesome. It's a more personal story. There's some unanswered questions, which makes it more fascinating. And I can't wait to watch the third one, because I want to see how it wraps up. It's a trilogy, but then there's more stories to come with 4 and 5. Maybe 6 and 7, who knows? But in any case, I think James Cameron has another winner. If I had to choose between the two, I prefer Avatar: Way of Water more than the first Avatar. However, the original will always be the best. But I think there's so many new elements in this one that really, when you compare the two, essentially James Cameron made it better. He improved upon the first one. So I really do like The Way of Water more. They're both fantastic films, but if you're going to take the same formula, same story elements, even the same structure of the film, they had 13 years to improve all this. So James Cameron did a great job and made it better. James Cameron is a director, a storyteller who can tell better sequels. Terminator 2, Judgment Day, way more visually driven. Aliens versus Alien, all right? So, the originals are always great, and they are superior in storytelling, but the visuals, right? That's what it's all about. Did a great job with that. Anyways, I'm going to give it a wow. Okay, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I'll give it a 9 out of 10, and no. Okay, 9 out of 10. I was gonna say 9.5 out of 10. 9.5 out of 10, but I'll give it a 9 out of 10. There's one reason why I was a little bit why it's not a 10 out of 10 or even higher, and it has to do with I can't say anything. It's a bit spoilerish. Let's just say that I'll just ask this question: where did everybody go? Maybe if you watched it, you'll know what I mean. But where did everybody go? That's the thing. I don't want to spoil anything, but that's my big question. Okay, if everybody was all there, then I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10. But because I don't know where everybody went, I'll just give it a 9 out of 10. Still an extraordinary film. This is one of the greatest films of the year. Definitely the highest grossing film of the year. And it was well worth the wait. The hype is real. The 3D is amazing. A lot of people are talking about this. Go watch this film in 3D. And by the way, I watched it in IMAX 3D, which of course, you're meant to watch it on the biggest screen possible. But the way it was originally intended to be filmed and presented was in HFR 3D, and that's with by 48 frames per second. Okay, so if you have a cinema that's showing it or auditorium that's showing it in HFR 3D, watch it in that format, and also watch it in a bigger screen format, because the HFR 3D format, high frame rate 3D, will give you a better sense of the 3D. All right, so there you have it. That's all I got to say. 9 out of 10. My name's Alex. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.